Hello everyone. Today we are going to look at a JavaScript function called the arrow function. So let's start with the definition. So an arrow function expression is a compact alternative to a traditional function expression with some semantic differences and deliberate limitation in usage. And I have given the link for the MDN documentation for the arrow function. For this tutorial, we're going to take a small example or small usage of the map function as well. And for that, I have given the basic definition, which is map creates a new array from calling a function for every array element. Map does not execute the function for the empty elements. Okay. And for the purpose of this tutorial, we're going to use an extension called Quokka, which I have already installed in my computer. This Quokka.js version 1.0.544, which has 2.4 million downloads. The purpose of using this extension is simple. We are going to use the VS Code itself as a console rather than using the Google Chrome extension or Google Chrome console log element. Okay. If you guys have not installed it, I would recommend to use Quokka. Or if not, you guys can use the Google Chrome console. So now let's open the arrow function folder and with the documentation, and you have to go to file, create a new file, and within this, once you have installed the JavaScript Quokka extension, this will show a JavaScript file quokka.js. So you click it, then you will have the console log within the VS Code. Okay, now let's create a basic array for this. Okay, this basic array is simply a variable called num, which is an array of numbers 3, 6, and 9. Now after this, let's create a function which takes the input x and returns the square of x. So we're going to create a function named square, which takes an input of x and it will return the value. So let's comment this. Into this. So before doing anything else, let's see. So with this function, what are we planning to do is we are going to loop, or we're going to go one by one element within this array and get the square root. So basically we're going to get something like this. So 3 is 9, 6 is 36, 9 is 81. Now let's use this var num array and this function together, and let's console log. So we'll create a new array called var array, and within this we're gonna call in this num, and we're going to use map. So map, rather than using for loop, we're going to use map to go through one by one of each of these elements. Now within this, we're going to call the function square, and we're going to semicolon, and now let's console log our array, and as you can see, reveal in the value explorer, which is 9, 36, and 81. Similarly, it's showing in the console or in the VS Code editor itself. So it's very convenient to check. Now, this is the usual way of writing a console logging when we create an array, a function, and the console logging. Now let's see how to minimize or convert this function which we have separately written to an array function. Okay, let's go one by one. Okay, let's see. Let's simplify the above function. Okay, so in order to simplify, let's say this. Let's simplify, let's say one square function. Let's say simplify one square function. Okay, now rather calling the square within the num.n, let's just call the entire function as such, and let's create variable a, and we call num map, and we will, rather than writing the square, let's put the entire function inside this. Now we have variable a is equal to num.map. Within the parentheses, we're going to call the function square x and open curly braces, and we're going to call return x into x, semicolon, close curly braces and the parentheses and semicolon. And now let's see console log a, see what is the results. Yes, it's giving the same results as above. Let's further simplify this function. Let's call it simplify 2 and remove the name of the function. Let's remove the name rather than remove the name of the function. So here we're going to remove the name of the function. We're going to simply take out this square and we're going to change this variable to b, and let's console log see whether b is working. Yes, it's working, and it's giving us 9, 36, 81, same as the first instance. Now we have removed the square in the second step. Let's simplify this further until we come to our. Now let's simplify. Third step is to go to, let's further remove the function, remove the term function. So again, we'll go back and we'll say another variable c. Now we'll take this and let's copy it here, and let's say variable c, and let's remove name, the term function. Okay, but once we remove this function, which is a reserved word in, okay, we have to insert the arrow function like such. But remember, the we can call it a big arrow or the fat arrow. This arrow function has to be written in this particular way. We cannot save this, then it will be an error. It will show syntax error. So it has to be equal without any space and greater than simple. Okay, let's console log C and the letter C or the variable C. Yes. Let's see whether it's giving the same answer again. Yes, as you can see, it's giving us the same answer again. Now let's see whether we can simplify this even further. Let's take this. Let's take the entire again and come down here. And let's simplify number 4. Now we will remove the brackets and the curly braces. From this function. So there's a curly braces here. And there's a curly braces here, and the parenthesis covering the letter X, and we're going to remove the semicolon here. And let's call this E. Console log this. Now we remove the brackets. Rather than removing the curly braces, is giving us an error. So we just remove the curly braces. Now the D is giving us the same answer. So let's simplify this further to get the exact syntax. Let's take this and let's go back and let's remove the return. Let's remove the return. Let's say this E. And let's remove this E. Let's say undefined. Now let's remove the curly braces. And again, we are getting the same answer, 9, 36, 81. So this is the most simplified version of the one we found in the arrow function. And now let's save this. But once we save this, the Quokka functionality will not work function, because this will convert into a normal JS file. And let's go back to our zip and let's add this, git commit to our Git repository. Function git push push. Okay, so the document has been uploaded to Git, and this is the simplest form to converting an arrow, or basically how the arrow function works, step-by-step method. So let's go it again in a quick manner. So we have a function, we switch the function within the function, higher order of, like we can call it a higher order of function. Then we remove the name of the function. Then we remove the term function. Then remove the brackets, leaving the X. Then we remove the return. And further, if you wanted, we can further do this as well, which will give the same output. So let's do that as well. Let's go to 6. Let's do 6 and say remove the brackets of X, and we do that, and it will still console work because there's no errors showing in. Okay, thank you guys. Hope to see you again.